Hello, welcome to MXDOUT, and basically we've got a review, and we're going to do a review on the Fractal Design ITX case. So for people that want to have a small gaming setup case with all the components crammed in, Fractal Design is kind of listening to its little designers and stuff like that, and people like the influencers that want to obviously have a little case that can fill components in ITX case and have it on the desk and have it as a gaming little setup. Pretty cool. But anyway, Fractal Design sent this to my house, not to my office. Well, they went to send it to my office, and then all of this stuff happened. I haven't done a review in a while, but I thought I'll do one because everyone wants to see a damn review of a case. So this is live and streaming live as well. So this is going to be different. I'm not going to touch anything that will cut the stream off as well. So this is a proper unboxing. I don't know whether you can see this. Yeah, you can see that. So that's cool. I'm going to just get it all out and get it all ready. So the case that I opted for, one partner opted for, is a white one with the brown wood finish at the top. So these are all the accessories right here. Now the good thing about me doing a live stream, you can answer me the questions right here and now. So you can say, oh, is that case going to be able to fit like this certain graphics card? Is like, how hot do you reckon it's going to run? Even though this is just going to be a case review, the amount of cases that I've literally done is going to be quite simply, I can give you a rough estimate of how much degrees your case is going to be reducing with the heat, and where the graphics card's going to be situated, what kind of CPU produces the most sort of heat, or the lower end like CPUs and stuff. Technically on this channel I want to change it up a little bit, and I want to talk about what you can make for the best sort of gaming computer, starting mediocre computer and top end computer, and help people. Instead of me playing games all the time online and streaming, I could stream stuff like this. Obviously I have got the components, they're in the computer now, which I'm streaming for, which is the ITX motherboard, but it's going to be pointless me taking it out because then I'll have to just do a normal video, edit it, and then upload it when I could just do it all live for you to have a look at. So this, obviously when you get it, it says Era ITX accessories, and then the colour is situated at the bottom here, which is white. Then on the back as well, you got the accessories. God, this is not easy on here. And it tells me what I got as an accessory. So we'll start with accessories real quick. Well, not real quick. Just take my time, shall I? So we got a grill, and this grill is definitely, well, you can see like on the size of it, it's not massive, but it's plastic underneath. And it's like a chicken sort of wire, but a better quality chicken wire. And the good thing about it as well is that means it can be able to dissipate heat. In this case, they're talking about a chimney sort of design of heat being extracted from the bottom with the graphics card and CPU and all the other components where the power supply is on the right hand side of thing, and a chimney sort of activation of heat distributing at the top. So this is what this is for. How you doing, Mark? Are you alright, mate? I bet you you're glad that I'm doing a computer actually review components rather than actually gaming. But I will be gaming later on, but not on this stream. This is all about the Fractal Design Era case. I did meant to get this ages ago, but I didn't even know they had a new case out, and they've got a new AIO cooling units, so I'm going to get them as well. Oh wow! Okay, the quality in this feels decent. Freaking hell! Right, so this is real wood on the top here. This looks sick. It's really nicely like. Do you know, like a wood? It's really nicely crafted. That's the word I need to look for. And then it's got metal at the bottom to stop all the wood from flexing over time. But technically, it looks nice if you're using lower grade components, because if you're using lower grade components, that means that the heat distribution is not going to be so mad inside the case. But if you're going to spend like near enough £150 on the case, you're going to be more likely to put more expensive components inside the case, which is going to produce more heat, because you're going to want to like obviously push it, especially for gaming. when you're gaming with high graphics, it's going to definitely produce a lot of heat and a lot more noise and stuff like that. Well, this wood should dampen it down a bit, but then I've got to look at the case a little bit more, and we haven't even got the case out. But anyway, it's got this little design here on the back, on the back of the wood. So it's just like hardcore like metal, and it's like probably about just under a centimetre in thickness, and it's all nicely crafted, as you can see. Very crafted indeed. Looks cool. And then it's got 6 like screws that are in there as well. They're like Phillips screws. Woo, can't see it. Phillips screws, and it's just solid. There's no flex to it at all. The quality is there. The quality is there. Really is. Now I'm gonna put this down here. And then we've got a little accessory box as well. It's the I can't get it in. It's all back to front to me. Oh, there we go. Here are ITX accessories, and then on the back, it shows you. Where is it? Like? So we've got all the screws there: 4 times, 20 times, 5 times, and 8 times. So what we got on the back accessories? So we've got power supply screws. It comes with 4 power supply screws. 20 times motherboard screws. Why would you need 20? Oh, and drive screws. I was going to say, for an ITX motherboard, it's going to be really small. You're not going to need that many screws. Probably going to need about 4. You've got cable ties, which comes with 5, just in normal standard ones. And you've got 3.5 inch screw drives, 8. Anyway, so you're telling me you can put like 2 3.5 inch mechanical hard drives in? That's going to be quite crazy. I think this is quite nice, the way they packaged this. I like it. Looks cool. So it's just in a normal bag of accessories and screws. I'll put that in the way. Is there anything else? Nothing else in the box, so I'll just put this all back in. I do like the packaging. It's pretty cool. So it just comes in like that. So you got the wood underneath, and then the filter at the top, so you can filter all the heat and stuff. So let's put this back on the top. Now we get to the case. Let's get to the case. Oh, freaking electric shocked me. I hate that. Right, this is different. This case comes in this sort of foamy film packaging. Doesn't normally do that. Someone is done. Oh gosh, well that's that done. Just take this off. Right, okay. So we got the book as well, which is the user guide. We'll have a look at that afterwards. Actually, I'll have a quick look at it now before I go into the case. I'll just stick this on the floor. Oh, it looks like that's pretty cool. Alright, what we got here? Era user guide. So we've got introduction, builder's guide. Right, so what can we do with this then? So this is a 16 litre case, which is slightly bigger than normal ITX cases, actually saying that. And looking at it, you can definitely get smaller ITX cases. Dimensions are 325 times by 166 times by 310 millimeters. Motherboard mini ITX, obviously. I don't know whether you can put a DTX motherboard in there. It just says mini ITX, so you just have to check if you're going to go and purchase this. Graphics card, so it's saying 295 millimeters long times 125 millimeters wide and 47 millimeters thick. So that's saying it can fit a full-size graphics card in the actual case. But then I'm thinking, if that doesn't sound very wide. It sounds like a 2-slotter, rather than like the really fat, chunky, special third-party edition graphics cards. This probably be better for like the NVIDIA release graphics cards, which are like double, what's it called? Double ported. So basically, PCI, it takes up two PCI slots rather than 3. That's what I'm trying to say. Power supply, ATX, SFX-L and SFX. So straight away, this case is definitely bigger because an ITX case would need more like an SFX power supply only if it's just completely tight, completely small, or a small edition. The thing is though, it's an 80. If you can put an ATX in there, it's going to be stuffing loads of stuff in that case for a 16 litre as well. Water cooling, so we can fit a 240mm or 2 times 120mm radiators. So we can fit 2 120mm radiators in there. That'd be quite cool to put 2 of them in there. Why would you put 2 in there though? Hang on, why would you put... Oh, if you're doing custom water cooling, I guess. So you could have 1 for the graphics card and 1 for the motherboard. 1 for the CPU even. CPU cooler up to 120mm in height, so that means you can't put a fully loaded thick CPU air cooler, but you can put in one of the mid-range CPU air coolers in there. That'd be no problem. Founders Edition cards, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, Founders Edition. I couldn't even spit it out. Yeah, Founders Edition card, that's what I want to put in there. You can put a 91mm max with hard disk drive in there. 4 times 2.5 inch SSDs and 2 3.5 hard disk drives. So you can either put 2 mechanical 3.5 inch hard drives, or you can put in 4 mechanical hard drives in, or 4 SSDs. 2.5 inch is in the case as well. You got USB Type C. You got 2 times USB 3 power LED and 3.5mm CITA combined audio mic, and that's on the front panel of the case. So that's pretty cool. On the case, it's got some breathing holes and it looks like it's got a filter on there. Oh, there you go. Yeah, 2 slots definitely. So yeah, definitely the Founders Edition graphics card on there. It's got a bracket as well where you can put in for the hard drives, so you can put in 2 3.5mm 2.35 inch mechanical hard drives, so 1 on the top, 1 at the bottom. I'll show you that as well. And then it looks like you can take the buttons from the IO where the microphone and the USBs are at the front, and then it looks like you can move up and down the 3.5 inch mechanical hard drive bay, and there's 2 brackets there, and it looks like the top can be taken apart 4 times. So you can take the top bit of the hard drive, of the top of the case, which is magnetic. So that must be magnetic to put the wood finish on. It might be even, because where those screws are as well, they're obviously metal, so they could be magnetic as well. Can I have a look at that? Right. So, do you know what? Forget the instructions. Already know what we can do with this case. Right, looking at this case straight away, to me, it looks really nice. Oh, okay. It looks pretty damn good. Okay, it's got an 80mm fan on the back. And it looks like it's got a pass-through for the power supply on the back there as well. Oh, sorry about hitting the microphone. So, can you see the power supply bit? And then you got the two PCI slots at the back, and then obviously the 80mm fan there as well. Fractal design. I don't think I've ever seen an 80mm one. That's the side of the case. I think, yeah, that's the side where you obviously put your hard drive on and that. And then this will be the other side. Oh gosh, sorry. And then that's the top where the magnetics bits go. It's got 6 attachments on there. And then this is the front. Right, I need to get out the light a little bit. Right, so that's the front there. So we've got 2 USBs there, and we've got a Type C, and then we've got a power button with an LED light on the top, and a 3.5 millimeter jack for headphone and microphone all in one. I don't like using them ones, to be honest with you. It's also got a filter at the top. So that's like chicken wire. It's got a filter at the top. So you can see that. And then it's got rubber feet at the bottom. They're not even rubber feet. They're pads. They're foamy pads. Foam pads at the bottom. 4 of them. And they are probably about half a mil. No, 5. 1, 2, 3. Probably about 3 mil thick at the top. So it's not a lot of clearance. If I'm looking at this case, I'm thinking, let me have a look inside the case. But I'm thinking this is not going to be able to distribute heat that well from here. This is meant to be a toolless design as well. So you just pull the side panels off. It's got 2 like little cutouts. Nice aluminium. So it's got 2 cutouts. So one here and one there, and you just put your finger over the top of the metal, which overlaps, and pull it, and it comes down. Doesn't it like my 3-slot Asus RTX 2060 would go in there with only 2 slots? It wouldn't. That's the problem. It won't go in there. So as you can see inside the case, you can see where you can put, whoa, gotta hold this straight and sturdy. You can only fit in 2 3.5-inch mechanical hard drives on there. And it's got rubber shock absorption, or shock absorbers. So basically when the mechanical hard drive's vibrating, it will keep the sound down. And then you've got a slot here as well. And that is for another 3.5 millimeter, is that for a 3.5-inch hard drive? No, that's where you can put 2 SSDs actually. 2.5-inch, sorry. So you've got 2.5-inch hard drives that go in here. One that side and one goes that side. Gonna have a quick look. And then I'll take off this other side. So if you've got like the little notches at the top here, this is where you can just pull it and then it will come out. So it's on the same side. Okay, we'll come back to the case in 1 second. That is solid. That is solid. So we've got a filter. And this filter is on the side where you would normally have your tempered glass, if you've not got tempered glass around the whole case. So basically where you can fill your graphics card, your CPU and everything like that, this will be this side. And it's also got pegs as well, so they just pull straight off. And it's got 2, well, I'd say about 2, maybe 3 mil rubber inserts over the pegs to keep it so it doesn't vibrate as well over the case. So if you can see that. The case is £150 for the case. So it's pretty expensive. And me looking at that case straight away and looking the way that it is, and it's not a 3-tier card or 3 PCI slot, it's looking like that the temperatures are going to be around 70, I'd say 70, 72 degrees to probably about 80 degrees. It looks like it's not going to be able to distribute heat well enough the way that the whole computer case looks. But I will be putting a build in there. But I'm just going to send off and get some more like components. Or I could just use the components that I got there. But I've got a 1070 down there. That's a 2-card slot. That'd probably work. Mini ITX and stuff. Yeah, that could work. Anyway, it's got a filter on the side here as well. And they're on pegs. Oh my god. It don't feel incredibly easy to get off. Okay, I don't know whether I want to try and pull this off or not. It feels dangerous. Well, anyway, there's a filter there that I can't get off. Oh, there we go. So you just literally kind of just lift your finger up like so. Like that. And then pull back a little bit. And then lift. And then it should open, but it's not doing it. Right, there we go. That side's done. God, it's really tight, man. God damn. Right, so these pegs are kind of locked in into these round bits on the actual filter itself. So you have to pull it out. But I was lifting it and then it was getting caught on the head of it. But yeah, so this is like a little filter. Easy to wipe and clean, no problem whatsoever. And then you got like the bare holes on it as well. And it looks pretty nice. This thing is solid. It's like 2 mil thick. And it's solid aluminium. Feels nice and cold. Now, this is the problem. Because this is using aluminium, if it can feel cold, you think, oh, it's going to be keeping your components cool. But then obviously metal retracts with heat. So this is going to get warm. And if you're gaming, it's going to definitely hold a lot of heat in. And then it will stay warm as well. But it should cool down. If you've got fans that are decent to blow air around it, it should be okay. But the craftsmanship that's gone through this is slightly different from what I would never ever see from Fractal design cases. It's very different. It's got like a proper like curve as well. Can you see that curve? The hell is going on? They got curves everywhere. And then it's got a curve straight down the middle. Can you, hang on, let me see if I can look at that. It's like Fractal design are going on crazy with their little designs now. I tell you, it's definitely something different. It's all like chic. Look at it, look how it bends to the side and everything. That's nuts. It's got a little bend there as well. Yeah, so it's just got like little breathable holes. Oh, they both got filters on both sides, exactly the same as the other one. It's got a nice little bump on top there. Can you see that? That's nuts. Okay. Da-da-da-da-da. My PC costs £150. I know, this is for people who want to obviously put more expensive components inside their computers. This is not for the people that want to like have a cheap computer. Basically, this is more expensive. If you're going to spend £150 on the case, then you should be buying a very decent graphics card, decent CPU, decent cooling. It's just going to start to mount up. And do not cheap out on the power supply. Right, so inside this case, it looks pretty small. It looks like you can cram quite a few bits in there. So this bracket here, right this side, this is going to be for where your power supply goes. Yep, that's where your power supply would go there. Then a mechanical 2.5 inch hard drives will go there. 3.5 inch hard drives there. 80mm fan to... Let's see how this would work. So we've got one to exhaust. So say the graphics card will go at the bottom, the CPU. So we've got a generous cutout as well for the I/O bracket. So when you put in like a CPU cooler or AIO, something like that, you've got a generous cutout there. AMD bracket's going to be quite close. An Intel one will be fine on the back there. And then we've also got a cable tie at the bottom. Where is it? Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. How can we show you? There it is. Yeah, can you? Alright, see there? That is a cable tie right there. So Fractal Design just put one in. And then we have got a pass through there for the power supply. So the power supply pass through is here. And that is an awkward bit because with those sort of cases, you always have thicker power supplies to have to connect to and all that sort of stuff. Can I ask you, why would you buy a mini ITX motherboard which costs more than a normal motherboard? Also, the cases cost more. Some people just want a smaller form factor. ITX cases and motherboards are really popular. They've been popular for years, even when it came down to Intel NUCs and stuff like that. But what it is that they produce so much heat that it starts to slow down the computer. But CPUs back then, when Intel NUC and then Gigabyte started bringing out something afterwards, and then they started putting in like Core i7s and fully fledged like graphics cards in their little like NUC systems, it was producing so much heat, and then it basically started gaming, and then it started to slow down, because that's what they're meant to do. If they're not meant to peak so much that it gets really hot. But people like that. It's just something to tinker with. With ITX, you can see how small that is. A big ATX case, you can literally just grab any ATX motherboard and just stick it in there and put all the components, and it's really easy, and you've got so much selection of prices. But when it comes to ITX, you don't. ITX is pretty good because normally you have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth that comes as standard on there, but now you can have NVMe, quite a few slots. On like the older models, you could have NVMe on the back of a motherboard, but now you can probably get them on the motherboard as well, more faster as well. It got shielded for PCI graphics as well. And you've got loads of USBs and pins and RGB. You've got loads of stuff that you can put on it. Type-C, USB 3, USB 3.1. You got everything just all in this little motherboard. And it's really quite cool. You can have something really powerful, but as long as it's quiet. If you're gaming and you've got headphones on, you're not going to really hear it and that. So that's pretty different. I've got a mini ITX PC as a media center in the living room. That's cool. These are what these are good for as well, as having these for that. That makes a lot of sense. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for that, because technically you can have something that's really small and it's out the way, but it's custom to what you want it to be. That's a nice thing to have. It's like having something that is a mini ITX but still got all the functionality of an ATX, a fully fledged ATX motherboard. Some of those motherboards are more powerful than a normal ATX motherboard as well, because they're crammed in, but obviously the price reflects that. And also they got BIOS, dual BIOSes, and everything is just slightly different. They're kind of making them in a way where it's making it easier and more accessible. Because say you got a graphics card and you put it over in a normal ATX motherboard, they used to put the battery, which is a CMOS battery, right underneath the graphics card. And then if anything goes wrong, you didn't have a CMOS reset button on the back of the motherboard. So you have to take near enough your computer apart, take the graphics card out, and then take the battery out to see if you can get it running. It's a proper mission. Anyway, this top just comes right off, real easy. It's got magnet bottoms, so 6 magnet bottoms on the top bit. And then the wood bit or the filter goes on top of here. And that's really good. I like that. So you can take this grill off the top. It's got screws. How many screws it's got? It's got 4 screws at the top as well. As you can see, 4 screws. And it's got, it looks like some sort of filter, a little cheese grate filter inside there. Can you see it? Yeah, there you go. So some sort of cheese grater filter there. And the brackets you don't have to break off on the back. They're quite decent quality. But mind you, for 150 quid, you expect that. But for £150, I would expect probably a bigger fan on the back. Using low profile fans on the top here as well. It's still, I think it's going to be a push. It looks pretty cramped in there. Right, so if I'm looking at this now, would I buy this case? Now, I've got Type-C on the top there, a couple of USBs. I don't like, oh yeah, the 3.5mm jack, I like that. You can stick that in there and you can get your microphone and headphone jack from it. But some cases just have like 2, and you need a splitter and that, and it's just awkward when you're using Windows software. So I just find it easier just plugging it in with a USB or even a Type-C through to the front, and it's done. So if I was to start building this computer, I'll obviously take this bracket off, which is here, the 2 3.5-inch bracket. Take that off. Measure up my graphics card. My graphics card. Whoa, hang on. What graphics card have I got? EVGA GeForce GTX 1070. So if I was to put that in there, it depends if you've got a blower style card or one that blows out the back. Now, if you've got a graphics card that's got like a few fans on the front, on the top, it will blow out as a chimney. But this doesn't make sense in such a small confined case. Where can I put the one? So where would I put the 120 then? It must be at the top. So I'll have to put the 120 at the top of this case. Yeah, you'd put. Can you put a 240 at the top? That's pretty nuts. But at the bottom. Now put it this way. This case is not going to be good for carpet. It doesn't reach off the floor enough. It won't even be really good. To be honest with you, if I had this case, because what I know, I would definitely put something underneath it to give it some more height to breathe at the bottom for the graphics card. It's got filters, but the filters are in the wrong place. It's not going to be enough to exhaust the heat. Can you see the filters? There's one there, and then there's one on the side as well. It doesn't look like it's going to have enough ventilation, especially on the front as well. The design of the case looks really nice and flash, but I believe that the temperature is going to be pretty 70 degrees to 80 degrees, and that's probably using like a Ryzen 7 and a graphics card like around like GTX 1070, RTX 2060 will be alright. But like the ones that are slightly overclocked are going to run more hotter because they're overclocked. Or like the supers, they're overclocked as well. So they run hotter. Motherboards as well, if you're going to overclock your CPU. This is not going to be the case for all that. This computer case is more like a very unique but very classy sort of design as well. It's pretty nice looking. It's got like some shapes and stuff. You can get this in 5 different colours as well. My partner opted for this one. But yeah, 80mm fan, I'm not really impressed with that. I don't think it's going to dissipate enough heat. It's kind of going back to the old school days of things. What is the best case I can buy having around $20 or $30 ITX? What is the best case I can buy? What do you mean, what's the best case you can buy? What is the best case I can buy having around $20 or $30 ITX? Ah, well, there's loads of cases, but the difference is, why would you spend only $20 to $30 on a case? It's not really worth it. When you like, the thing is, with this, look at the way I'm holding this, and I haven't cut my hands yet. If you're going to spend $20 to $30 on a case, you're more likely to cut your hands on that sort of stuff. It's got, as well, I just noticed on this case, you can show you. Where is it? Can you see that? And here. These are little hooks as well, so you can tidy up your cables a little bit more. And it also stores for the power supply cable, which is quite thick. I wonder how long this cable is. It's the right mission to get in there now, isn't it? Right, so we've got a cable. And this cable is probably about, I'd say, probably about 40 centimeters in length. So that's your power supply cable. If I was going to use this case, I would put in more like a Core i5, like a Ryzen 5, like a graphics card, probably like RTX or Radeon, like 560. I wouldn't really put too much heavy components in there because there's too much heat. But you're going to have to, this is going to be like, ITX cases are basically for people that like to do different things. They like to customize their stuff. Shut up! They like to customize their stuff a little bit. So you can definitely customize this case a little bit and make it look a bit sweeter. But anyway, let me put this top back on. And where's the other top? I'll show you what it looks like with the panel on. So you only need slightly a screwdriver to get and put in a motherboard and all that other stuff. Like the graphics card, CPU, motherboard, hard drives. That's about it. Oh yeah, and take the stuff off. The rest of it's basically toolless. Can this come off? There's no front hole as well underneath there for any extraction of heat. It's just literally all blocked off. But this is what they've gone for, a chimney design. I've had loads of chimney design cases, and I don't think this would work. Okay, $30 to $40. Yeah, I suppose better. Yeah, 30 to 40. Probably. I can't really say in this video, but I'll probably leave it in the comments down below. But there's other case manufacturers that do things around that price, but it's a very competitive price. But it means that you're gonna be in a situation where you might not have something else. Like, say, for $30 to $40, you could probably get tempered glass and everything like that as well. But then you won't have, like, where the mechanical hard drive is going to be more of a mission, and then putting in the AIO and stuff, or a CPU cooler. Different places with different prices. The more premium the price normally means that you get a better case and it's easier to fit in. But with this case, I think they basically made it so it's an entry level into Fractal Design's ITX, because I never really see it before. I think like the core like series back then was like kind of their small cases, but like now they got like this, and it's kind of different. What do you think? What do you think of this case? Do you think this looks nice? It's like really nicely, like it's got galvanized metal as well, but it's not like the cheap galvanized metal. It just feels really solid. It's not really heavy either. I love the wood finish, but that's the problem. The wood finish is going to look sick on here. But if you're using a Ryzen 5 or a Core i5, like CPU and all that sort of stuff, it doesn't generally put that much heat and more stress on the system, as well as the graphics card if you're going to use a lower tier graphics card. But if you want to use a more higher tier graphics card, you're going to get probably a more like 3 or 4 difference of a drop in decimals with the heat distraction of that. Most people might change this fan. I haven't tested the 80mm Fractal Design fan yet, but I can imagine it's going to be quite loud in decibels. But most people might obviously use a Notchwa fan on the back there, or black noise. What else would they use on there? A Be Quiet fan. If Be Quiet do 80mm fans, can't remember if they do or not. But yeah, you got a few bits you can place in there. It looks a bit of a mission now, to myself. It's a bit of a mission, this case. What do you think about it then? I don't want any tempered glass or anything fancy. Well, this case will be for you. It's a bit expensive though. To be honest with you, 150 is pretty pricey. If they were going to do it at like 120, I think it'd still just be just right price. Maybe something like Silverstone SG30, not sure what the price is now. That is really cheap. I had done a review on that ages ago. They had loads of different versions. It is a bit of a mission to get in there. You can really compress like loads of stuff, but every time you're going to go and buy anything that's ITX, you're going to have to check to make sure the right sizes are all going to fit inside the case. Because the problem is that you'll get all the components, you'll be like, oh, that motherboard's got RGB. And then obviously, oh yeah, you can get like motherboards that are a little bit thicker. And if they're thicker, they have better tracers and they hold more current and stuff like that. But that's when you spend more money on the motherboard. But then you're going to be taking away a bit more space. Now this case has got a bit more space, but it doesn't look like it's got a whole lot of space, as it's only 16 litres. But it is a big ITX case compared to other ITX cases, especially the Silverstone SG13, which is a nice like shoebox case, and it's got filters everywhere on there. And you can put a 120mm radiator in there as well if you get a decent one. If I was going to go for a decent AIO, probably be like the Iceberg one by... I can't remember what it's called now. Not Aerocool. I can't remember what it's called. You know the one I'm talking about. So what do you think about the case then? Would you buy it for £150? It's going for different prices everywhere. Come on, ask me some questions about this case, goddammit. I'll be waiting. This is the whole point about a stream. You can ask me the questions right now before I put it back in the box. So, okay, so we can put a graphics card down at the bottom. Gives you a little bit of room. cable's going to be kind of messy in there. So if I was going to use a power supply in here, I would definitely use a power supply that was modular, fully modular. Silverstone, I've got some sick power supplies as well that you can definitely have that are fully modular, and they go from bronze all the way to like platinum, and they've got really good high power efficiencies as well. It's saying it can put a 240mm radiator in the top of that case. What? No. How would you put on? Ah, okay. You could. Yeah, you could. It'll have to be quite low profile though, because what it is these brackets go down, but it don't go down too far. It's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It goes down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 centimeters. They got, like, basically you got these holes there. Can you see the holes? Hang on. Can you see the holes? Right here. So these brackets, that bracket, oh my god. That bracket and this bracket, they go down, but this only goes down 1 centimeter, which is there. And this bracket will go down as well. So yeah, so what do we got here? GameMax have loads of really cheap Butker cases. Yeah, GameMax do. That's an English company. They're pretty good. I think he's American, so it'll cost just as much. Lots of laughs. Can you imagine a normal power supply in this case? It says it can fit an ATX power supply in it. But, you know, the thing is people will try to get like their normal old school power supply out of their computer case from like 2013 or 14, and then try and put it in there, because power supplies are basically trying to make them smaller but more power efficient. Power supplies last for so long as well. They last for so long. Corsair, I've got to give them their dues. I've had 2 power supplies that go wrong with the what version is it? AXI versions. And I had a warranty on there for like 5 or 6 or 7 years. And all I needed to do was write out a load of stuff. But when I did, and then proved what I like the receipt where I got it from and everything like that, they sent me a brand new power supply. So it's pretty cool. Power supply companies are probably the best companies out of the whole computer industry, because their power supplies last for a long time. As long as you've got a decent power supply. If you get like a crap power supply, the crap power supplies normally ruin your whole computer and blow all your components up. Not American, Indian. The same thing, mate. It's not UK. GameMax. Let's have a look at GameMax quickly. Yeah, they've got quite sweet cases. Yeah, I've done quite a few reviews on them. Find us. Oh, no, you'd be alright. I think you'll be alright. It looks like they're heading right out now. Hang on. Are they a Chinese company? I'm sure they were a UK company. GameMax. I'm sure they are a UK company. I can't remember. But anyway, it's saying that, yeah, you can probably get it delivered to where you live. Amazon US. Yeah, you should be able to get it. No problem. But anyway, this case is also saying if you've got long tubes for your AIO as well, you can definitely use like cable ties, not tie it up too much because then you don't want to have a leak and stuff, but it can still do that. But if you've got an AIO, have a shorter AIO tubes and it will be less getting in the way of stuff. You can put a 120 at the top there. If you put a 120 AIO in the top of this case, that means that you can put an ATX power supply in there. but you can only put an SFX if you're using a 120 in there, which is fair dues. The way that it is, I suppose it does look like a chimney sort of design. So if your graphics card is at the bottom and it's breathing in, where is it? Oh, what am I putting my hand on? You got your graphics card here, and it's breathing up. Your power supply is here, and then you've got this fan blown over here. I don't know what this is doing. Over exhausting, isn't it? Because it's on the exhaust. So it's going up. You got your exhaust. I can't even hold this case properly. Right. So let's see that way. So you see your exhaust. Yeah, let's put it back this way. So you've got your exhaust and it's coming out that way, and then you've got this Circuline Cyclone coming out through the top. But if you've got the wood, it's going to block it, and then all it's going to be doing is going straight out the back. But for an 80mm fan, it's going to be pretty crazy. Also, 240 at the top, SFX power supply only. ITX power supply, 120 right here. And I like the tallest designs of it. Cool. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Motherboard fits in pretty easy once you take everything off. Obviously, you build it outside the case. Oh yeah, the 3.1 Gen 2 cable is there as well. That plugs in. Where's the HD audio? Actually, seen that. Where's all the other cables? Oh, there they are. I didn't even show you those cables. So we've got a Type USB 3.1 right there. And then we've got USB 3. And then we've got the HD audio. And what other cables do we come with it as well? HD audio, power connector, we'll see. You get 4 little cables for the I/O from plugging the motherboard. There's no USB 2 on there, so that's cool. There's no other cables to plug in. So, oh yeah, the fan as well on the back is a DC fan, so it's not PWM. So it's going to be loud. Whatever you're talking about, it's going to be loud when it's trying to get... when the computer gets hot, it's just going to be loud, that 80mm fan. So what I would do is I would swap that out for a fan that's PWM so you can have more control over it. I'm using Fractal No 202, proper old school case. Remember that one? And it looks less complicated to build than into this new case. Yeah, well, this is the tallest design, basically. But I don't know why they call it tallest design, because technically you still have to have a screwdriver to obviously screw the motherboard in. This is why I don't really like doing reviews as much anymore, because the computer industry is kind of falling on top of each other. I've got so many ideas that would make people buy new computer components, new cases, new RAM, new motherboards, new fans, everything. Like, literally, I've got ideas, but I don't want to put it out there because people will just nick my ideas and use it for themselves, and then that'll be a new industry thing that's happening. But when you've been playing around with computers for so long, so many years, and it's still the same sort of thing. You're plugging it in a bit like Lego. Sometimes back then you could plug it in wrong, and then obviously you can set the motherboard on fire, but it's kind of hard to do that. RGB, like, the cable used to be 4 pins and then you can short it out, but now it's only 3 pins in a 4-pin like slot, or you can get ones that are going to be like, it's like Netflix. Netflix had Disney, and then Disney saw what Netflix was doing, and then they were like, I'm not giving you no more content anymore, we're gonna do our own stuff. And then they basically started doing their own stuff. So that means that Disney's got their own channel, they can charge for that, people are gonna recognize Disney. They've got Marvel, and they've got the Disney Channel for all the kids and all that sort of stuff, so they can make a load of money on it. But it just shows that the industry is really just all over the place. when it comes to computer cases, I like computer case manufacturers to start off with, because the case is normally the gem that makes everything look nice rather than all the RGB. If you haven't got RGB and then you've got a really crappy case, the system looks crap. But technically, the computer is there to do its job. But in this day and age, you want a computer that looks really nice. It's like a kitchen can look really nice, or it can just look really bland, but it can do the job. Now, technically, when you're spending that kind of money, you're spending a lot of money for RGB, and RGB is not really that expensive, but RGB is expensive in the computer industry. It really does upset me about all this stuff, but that's just the way it is. You know, computers are going to be computers in that way. It's like someone said earlier about the mini ITX. Why is it so expensive? Well, because it's smaller, it's a smaller form factor. It's popular, but it's popular in a way where people that like to customize the computers and compress it and have a very small footprint is what it's good for. So that's what that's there for. The power supply, I suppose it does look pretty complicated. You can connect the power supply to the 3.5-inch hard drive, and then you need screws for that. So it's saying you need a screwdriver. It's technically not tallest design. You got a bracket as well for the ATX power supply. I wonder if you get one for the SFX. And also, you don't get a ribbon cable as well. So you can have to plug in for your graphics card to make it easier and accessible. So when you're putting a graphics card in such an awkward place, you would rather have like a PCI ribbon cable that can plug into the motherboard and just have it so it's separate. But I guess it's more cables in a small form factor case. And plus it only fits 2-slot cards, so that means that you're going to have to go with 2-slot graphics cards, which means that you're not going to get the proper bonus that you want. So if you can go with a really powerful CPU, but when it comes to power supplies, it's just not power supplies. When it comes to graphics cards that have got 3-tier PCI slots, it means they can distribute more heat out the case as well, because they're third parties. Basically, NVIDIA makes the really high-end graphics cards, whatever, and then you got like the Strouds, which are done by Gigabyte, MSI, EVGA. Who else is there? I can't remember. Pony. There's loads of them. Loads of these companies, and they do third-party Strouds on top of the graphics cards, so it makes it breathe and exhaust heat easier and stuff like that. So yeah, any more questions you want to ask me about this case before I go? Any more questions? And also in this case, it's quite modular with getting everything out of the case. So that means that you can start from literally scratch. You can take the whole case apart. If you want to spray paint it, you can spray paint it up as well. You can do that. 80mm fans. It's saying that we can put in two. If you haven't got a graphics card that goes on the bottom, you can put in two 140mm fans at the bottom where the graphics card's situated, and obviously two 120s at the top, and an 80mm on the side. And water cooling options: 120, 240, and two 120 fans on there. 125mm max in width for radiators. So it's saying we can do custom water cooling as well if we want to do that. That's pretty cool. What's this? Hang on a minute, can it do that? Have I missed something here? It lied. This come off? No. What's this? Dust maintenance? What? No, it can't come off there. How'd you get that off then? Right, I get this front off as well. Can I get it off? Does this front come off? It's saying that I can get the bottom off where the filter is. That does not look safe. Dust maintenance. And it was got a vacuum cleaner on there. You don't vacuum computers. When you vacuum computers, it kills the computer off. Oh, right. I'm good for questions, mate. I think it looks nice though. Can it make a coffee? It depends. If you use a Raspberry Pi and all the other scientific things to make coffee machine, yeah, I guess so. I also think it looks good, but thermals, it seems that many companies forget to properly test it. Yes. That's what I'm saying. Just looking at this case, I'm looking at 70 degrees to 80 degrees with like high-end components easily. Just like normal regular use. Hey bro, I'm back. I know this isn't related and it's fine if you don't want to answer, but have you got any tips for sharing and starting a channel, and how did you do it yourself? So basically, if you want to start a channel, just go ahead and start a channel. There's no other way of saying it. If you go and start a channel, you start a channel and then you can find out whether you're going to make it or not. But it depends the way the algorithm works with YouTube. YouTube works in wonderful ways. So basically, I do things that people don't want to watch and see, which I know what people do like to watch. I know how to work the algorithm. When I've done a video on that guy that messed up a computer components, people like drama and stuff. So I tapped in and I read that algorithm wave, and basically they like drama, and that really will get you viral and make you loads of money. But I'm not in this channel to make money. I'm just into this channel to help people have fun. If they've got problems, whatever, they can speak to me. And then like trying to help people with computer components, software and stuff like that. But not too deep into it, because that's what my Discord's for. But anyway, when it comes to starting a channel, just go ahead and start it. You should check out what other people are doing. Gaming, and it's really popular, but gaming is chosen already for the certain people. Because I'm already in the industry, I can speak to people and get straight away like viral videos if I really wanted to. But it's not about that. It's about even if you do go viral, your videos can go right up, and then as soon as something goes, if you keep doing it and people don't like it, it goes straight back down. So I just do it to the people that are, I don't know, like the right community. You want the right community. You don't want people to be like, if you're streaming every day and then, or making videos every day to a certain thing, and they're asking you questions, and you do something else, they leave. That's the community you don't want. And that's the community I don't like. Yeah. So that's all you need to do. So basically, start the channel, start with your friends and family, get up to 10 subscribers, speak to them, make sure they watch your videos, and let them find out, or let them tell you what they think about your content. If your content is decent, they'll let you know. Because if your family and friends can say that your content, well, not all the time, some people will just think like YouTube's a bit funny, but people don't realise that you can make about 50,000-60,000 pounds like a month on YouTube so easily, and that's like people's wages, like over and over again. And this is in a month, and then you get sponsorship, and then you get people paying to like watch your content, and you get the products as well. It's a ridiculous amount of money. So whatever, like gaming is even worse. That's like a lot of money, a lot of sponsorship. Think about it like this: it's like back in my day. It's like it had cigarette companies, and you had Marlboro, You had Embassy Number One, Benson Hedges and stuff, and they used to advertise on Formula One cars and jackets and stuff like that. And they made so much money. And this is the same industry. It's the same industry of advertisements. If you can get advertisers on your content, if you're good at what you do, you will do really well. What are you doing at the moment? Are you doing gaming? Are you doing reviews? Are you doing food, hygiene, or like food recipes? You cook or something? Are you doing fashion? What are you doing? I can tell you right now whether it's worth going into or not. Alright, so we can take 4 of these screws out of the 6 of these screws out the bottom, and then that's how you get to clean this filter. It's making this book makes it look really easy. Look, if you look at it like this, or am I looking at that? No, it's not that one. Can't get it on there. There we go. What the hell? Oh, that one. Does that not look like the bottom bits look like they just flip out? There's 6 screws underneath to be able to get that clean. I've only made 3 videos so far, posting a setup video in a few hours. You're going to have to make a hell of a lot more than 3 videos if you want to even be seen on YouTube. I would say, if you want to do this full time, how old are you as well? CPU air cooler for this case as well. Maximum 120mm. 70mm recommended, 91mm max. What the hell was that? Graphics card limitations. Oh, here we go. That fan that's on the back of this case. 1600 rotations per minute. Acoustic noise is 18.1 decibels. Maximum airflow is 20.2 cfm. Maximum air pressure is 0.99 mm over H2O. Maximum rated input current is 0.6 amps. And actual input power is 0.5 watts. And normal, what's that? Nominal input voltage is 12 volts. Minimum startup voltage 6 volts. MTBF 40,000 hours. Oh my god. That's a lot about that case there. Yeah. I've only started 3 days ago. Posting every day at 5 PM. Yeah, also just let people know when you post and stuff. Make sure your content is the best that you can do. Actually, saying that, that's a lie. You can make your content not that great, and then you get better and better, and then people will give you ideas of what things to get better. But the thing is, there's so many people competing for the same things, you will get overlooked. And YouTube only really likes people that stay online for a long time, for watch time. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And going to try carry on posting once a day whilst I'm in isolation. What videos are you actually posting? Posting of what? Oh, you're 15. What? The best thing you can do, forget about your mum and dad and your brother and sister if you've got one, and your cat and dog. Right? When you go to school, get all your friends to follow you online. That's what you do. And then that will give you a bump in the algorithm, and tell them what time and get them to support you. Right, no more questions about this case. Is it all good? You've seen a review of this case. I've actually done a review and I've done a live stream. So I'm going to be playing Call of Duty in about half hour. Yeah, I've been trying to improve each video every day. That's cool. Watch other people with their stuff and then just learn from that. And learn from your mistakes and what you can make things better. And make sure when people watch videos, they need to get something out of it. If they don't get something, if you're doing this as a full-time thing, you need to make sure your videos, people are always getting something out of your videos, or they will not come back. As simple as that. Anyway, I'm going to be playing Call of Duty in half hour on this channel and also on my Twitch channel. So, hope you all have a great day and good day to ya. See you soon in half hour. Thanks for watching. Roger and out.